Hello everyone, welcome to the first ever unboxing on this channel. Today we are cracking open Festival on a Box Atlanta and see what we can get in the secret layers, but more excitingly, in the Mystery Booster 2. I did last year open a box of Mystery Booster 2 and I'm not a big opener of packs, but this was by far the most fun I've ever had opening packs. There's over 1800 cards in this set, so super diverse, but also lots of super playable cards. I love the Future Sight framing, so let's see what we get. We're not in this for the money, but I will be keeping a tally of what we get pools wise financially. I guess we'll limit it to anything that's worth over £1, because always nice to get some singles to sell to my local game store. But mainly, I'm here for the fun, and also, hopefully, for some cool upgrades for my Commander decks. So, let's see what we get, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. Thank you for joining me. Though actually, I guess now I'll record a note. So this is actually me post-cracking, but turns out I did yap on a bit. I do love to read the cards, and if you'd like to skip straight to the pulls, timecode on screen, and link in the description as well. So yeah, if you want to skip me rambling on about these cards and just see what we got, then skip to this timecode. So, Mystery Booster 2, cracking, let's go. Right, here we go. Let's crack this thing. I always thought Festival in a Box was a slightly strange name. When I first heard of it, I thought like, okay, we're going to sort of be reproducing the con experience in some kind of way. How will they do that? Maybe there'll be some interesting bespoke gameplay, something to run with friends. But no, it's just cards. I don't really know what I expected, but cool cards. I'm very excited to see what we've got, but I always thought the branding was slightly odd. So, I've actually completely forgotten what cards are in here. But let's take everything out first. I do know that there is the Future Sight Dragon and Future Sight Sliver. The 5-colour Sliver Commander is in there. But most excitingly, what we're actually here for, this here box. Say goodbye to the cardboard. So, let's start with these. So if anyone's not familiar with Mystery Booster, again, it's an extremely large set, 1800 cards in the set total. And it also comes with, I forget how they brand these things. But yes, firstly, every pack comes with playtest cards, like this one here. Spaghetti Junction, which I believe everyone gets. Now, if I'm being honest, the playtest cards don't do anything for me. I think it's quite neat that they are previewing future mechanics often. They often experiment with things in these cards that then will emerge in later sets. So I think the station mechanic, for example, did get previewed in the card in this kind of way. Yeah, but personally, I'm not super interested in them, so we'll keep them over here. Here we go. So this is one of the things that I think if you're an MTG Finance bro, made this a sensible investment. Future Sight Dragon, and wow, it does look very nice, very, very nice. I love the Future Sight frame, which is odd because I think for lots of people it's quite a nostalgia thing. I wasn't around for Future Sight. I started playing in Dominaria 2017, but I do just love the treatment. Scourge of Valkas. Yeah, it's a nice Dragons card, and a Future Sight Lightning Bolt, which actually will get jammed in something. I'm building up a couple of decks that I think could do with a Bolt, so pleased to have those. Let's see. Oh, I need to remember to do this on camera. I was about to pull that into my lap, but you're here for at least partly the ASMR of this experience, right? That's got to be part of the box cracking fun. Here we go. Cardboard off to one side. Throw you out of frame. We'll deal with that later. Now, we did know what these were going into it. Sure, it was possible to know. I had forgotten. Maybe you should have looked it up before getting on camera, but yeah. Improvisation, part of the fun, right? So, Pack Rat. I have been tempted actually by building some kind of rat deck. There's been enough rat support cards printed that I was looking through my bulk and thinking, yeah, there's something here. So Pack Rat might find a home one day. Shared Summons, absolute banger of a card. Well, certainly in Command. I don't know if it's playable anywhere else, but that's going to go into... I'm building a Grand Warlord Rada sort of big mana deck, actually, and I think that's going to go straight in there. Sylvan Offering. That is another banger in the same deck, actually. Sorry. I was reading that very slowly. I don't know, I might cut out the long pauses while processing reading the card. I should probably do that out loud, right? But, again, in Big Mana Rada, that is going to be super fun. Because I might put the card up on screen, but I make bonus mana for every creature that attacks, so making lots of little dorks, absolutely perfect. Sliver Legion, did know that was in here. Yeah, you know, the go-to 5-colour Sliver Commander. And Pretty Island. Not the chase card of the Secret Lair. So I think these are the same. Well, these are the same cards that were in the previous round of Secret Lairs, and there is the rare chance of getting a slightly strange-looking Seven Dwarfs card that is worth a few bob. But I actually prefer these. I don't know if that's going to show up well on camera, but they are really, really gorgeous. These basic lands. Problem is, you know, buying enough to ever have a decent set, you know, set you back quite a lot. But even having a couple, still very cool. Right, I need to think about how I'm going to organise this. Maybe we'll keep the Secret Lair cards and the promo cards over here for now, and we might need to move them if we run out of space. Playtest cards, yeah, down in the neglected bottom corner. But right, time for the main event. And I do have my scissors in case, yeah, well, actually we're just going to use my little toy scissors. I tried to find a nice box cutter, partly in reference to the ultimate unboxing bard here on YouTube. But I could not find my box cutter, so baby scissors it is. More rubbish, thrown out of frame. God, my lights are really blowing that out. I don't know if I need to, if I might turn that down actually a little bit. Let's see if that looks any better. Can you tell that I'm quite new to this? That has made no difference at all. What about you? Yeah, maybe having you off is better. I mean, it's still pretty flippin' blown out. We'll see. If this is unusable, you'll never see it anyway, so... we'll leave it all as is, and hope that it's just the ultra-white playtest cards getting blown out on camera. Oh my goodness, here we go. I thought it'd make it look all pretty. Again, I'm not sure how much of this I'll cut out. I feel like there's a verisimilitude to being bad at this. Right, oh, here we go. Right. Actually, I'm quite excited now. I think all the fandango of getting a filming set up when you're not very good at it is slightly taken my mind off how cool it is to be opening Mystery Booster 2 again. I absolutely adored this last time, so yeah. Let's have some fun, see what we get. Sorry, Acolyte. Now, I don't know how fast I want to skim through these. If I'm going on my own, I'd read them quite slowly. The organist doing stuff for YouTube. You don't want to watch me slowly process every single card. Most of you are here for some, you know, the second-hand pleasure of seeing some big hits. But yeah, Life Living King 2-3, that might be playable in my again, getting a sort of bring up a counters deck at the moment, that might even go in there. So I'm immediately having a good time, even just with some janky common. What are we gonna do? I guess we'll put on just commons over here, and probably uncommons too. Barbed Spike, Looted Illicore. I do already have one of those, but very, very cool card in a bunch of different decks. Force Spike, Rush of Vitality. Basically, very similar cards. Another black instant speed protection spell. Cool. Pyrite Spell Bomb, old sort of draft staple. Alright, Rise of the Ants. That seems pretty useless to me, but you never know. Ants tribal might one day be a thing. I feel like everything eventually becomes gets a tribal commander, so, you know. Well, it's not even an ant type, it's insect type. No, there are already a bunch of insect commanders. I don't think that would be playable there. Sorry, Tail Swipe, Sideboarding Fight Spell, Batwing Broom, cool Fog effect. Again, did already have one of these in the previous set. Now, here we go. First rare. What a wacky reanimation card. Hell's Caretaker. Sack and return target creature. Very strong effect, but only during your upkeep. Not much of a downside, unless I'm missing something. I guess you can't do any sort of instant speed on opponent's end steps. Oh my goodness. Tell me you didn't see that. Oh, goodness me. Okay. I am still excited about the Hell's Caretaker, but yeah, we've got a little bit of a hit coming in behind. Hell's Caretaker, yeah, super cool card. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with that. Again, there's a mono black deck that I'm bringing up. I think that's going to go in. Very neat card, but yeah, I feel like if I was a better YouTuber, we'd be making a big deal out of this, because Pack 1, Urza's Saga, that is such a stonking big hit. Banging card, good money hit that we're not in it for that. I think I'll almost certainly be keeping this and running it in something. I don't like running... I'm not so much of a high power commander player, but Urza Saga is both incredibly strong, but also really, really fun. Yeah. If you're watching this, odds are you know what Urza Saga does. That is a massive hit. I don't want to touch it too much. My instinct is to throw it straight in the sleeve, but I guess it's not going to come to any harm here. Goodness me, I think that's another significant hit. Greater Good. I don't know if that's a money hit, but absolutely gorgeous, iconic card. God, that art is stunning. I have no idea if that's the original art. I'm familiar with the effect, but not with the artwork. That is so incredibly cool. Again, I think that probably goes straight into my big mana Rada deck. Beautiful. God, we already have such a good start, and the obligatory playtest card. That one actually is... I did an event out in MagicCon Vegas where you could use the test cards in a Mystery Booster 2 draft, and this was an absolute banger. Being able to play anything as a 6/6 with trample, but aside from that, yeah, that's probably getting straight in the junk pile. Right. God, what an exciting first pack. But I think if we do everything at that speed, we are going to be here all day, so I might try and speed things up. Maybe I'm seeing why the actual pros rip through the commons and uncommons a bit. You will otherwise be here all day. Regular cohort, actually very cool. Changeling Matters. All the cards in this set are so cool. I've also got my eyes on a Soviet Changeling tribal deck, and that's very neat. Card that makes 2 Changelings, almost certainly playable there. Portable Hole, cool card, not so much of a commander card. I think much more of a sort of constructed one, but still neat. Pimin's Aura, not a card I've heard of, but anytime you see 1 blue mana, untap enchanted creature, this just has revolting infinite combo written all over it. I'm sure there's some really gross combos that I've never heard of that use this card. No way there's not. That just goes infinite with a cheese sandwich, I guess. Heart of Spy Patrol, bit less exciting, but nice unblockable creature. Fleshbag Marauder, absolute classic. This was in some of the early dual decks that I first learned to play Magic with. Yeah, I think it's now been power crept into oblivion, but still really, really cool. And I believe that's the original art, and God, it is absolutely grotesque. I love it. Sketch Familiar, choose and discard a card. Interesting. Very good discard outlet. Again, not a card I'm familiar with. Get it? Pun. But incredibly cool. Okay, sort of recurable Red Threat, Pyrowild Shaman, Bronze Plate Boar, fairly unexciting. I do like these reconfigure cards, but that's not one of the most exciting ones out there. Feels like quite a weak rate. Gaze Embrace. I mean, this is the thing, I want to go through these slower because I just love these. I love the old artworks, I love the old frames. It's so nostalgic, so iconic. I really want to sort of dwell on these things more. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll just cut out loads of stuff. If you see loads of awkward cuts in this video, that's why. Because I don't think that's probably playable in Soviet Commander Volk 20 green decks. I do have one of those. I got a John Benton deck. I don't think this would go in there though. It's just a bit too expensive, but still very cool. And I just love. Well done, Paolo Parente. Gorgeous piece of art. Skysair Spider, big 6/6 spider. Withering Apprentice, nice sort of like spells matter Golgari, which is quite unusual but still pretty cool. Oh, Authority of the Consuls, personal favourite card of mine. I love jamming this in almost any white deck in Commander. Lots of incidental life gain, nice sort of like gentle stacks on the opponent as well. So if you're trying to like swing in for damage or to slow the opponent down, very nice. Yeah, delightful pull. Mental Misstep, obviously a sort of absolute staple in Eternal formats. Very, very cool card, and obviously slightly broken, as most free cards are. Contamination, god, the good art just keep on coming, and I just love those Future of Sight frames. I love them. I can't say it enough, they're so good. Beating Up keeps sacrifice Contamination unless you sacrifice a creature. God, that seems like an absolute powerhouse in Mono Black. That's going straight in my Mono Black pile. Seems like the card that might be a money hit as well. We'll find out. Well, you'll have already found out. If I've not been lazy and done the work, there'll be a sound effect and the pricing up on screen. That seems like a very exciting... Any kind of mana doubler, I'd imagine the floor on it is quite high. Let's get tidy things up a little bit here. Got it. First pack I'm really making a hash of on camera. Here we go. Crossbow Infantry. Not an exciting card mechanically, but it looks like his head's sliding off actually. I mean, I'm not an art expert, but that's a slightly awkward looking piece of art. But still love the framing, still very pretty. If an opponent, Standard Bearer, if an opponent plays a spell or ability that could target a Flag Bearer in play, that player chooses at least one Flag Bearer as a target. Okay, interesting. Big sort of like absorber of... That is interesting. Probably not in Commander, right? Because it's hard to... Well, even then, maybe. If it gums things up, if you can recur this in any kind of way. That is a really cool card. Very nice artwork too. Discard a card, sacrifice a land. Search your library for 2 basic lands, but... Wow, that seems like very good mono blue. Discard a card, sack a land. That seems like, for a mono blue ramp, again, a card I'm surprised I've not heard of, really. Please feel free to roast me in the comments for my ignorance of Magic's history. I mean, I totally understand if you're like, oh god, that's an absolute staple in insert format here. But I'm certainly surprised that mono blue has access to ramp like that. That is very cool. Psychic Corrosion, very cool mill spell. Whenever you draw a card, yeah. Each opponent mills 2, absolute staple if you're going sort of the blue mill strategy. Rite of Consumption, cool ass artwork, not very exciting card. Reaper's Talisman, attacking creature gains Death Touch. Yeah, not very exciting, but still... No, actually I want to be honest, not very exciting and kind of a boring artwork. A rare miss from Mystery Booster 2. I feel like, yeah, important to be honest. Actually, is it? Probably not important to be honest, but I'm being honest. Don't like that one so much. Faithless Salvaging, presumably a Faithless Looting callback. Discard a card, draw a card, rebound. Yeah, good one to fill the graveyard, but god, it's a pretty pale imitation of Faithless Looting, isn't it? Goblin Wardiver. Yeah, fairly unexciting Goblin. Cool artwork though. I feel like I just love Magic the Gathering art so much. I love old artwork, I love new artwork. So rarely are there misses in their lineup. That is a banger, and that is going straight in my new counters deck. Enters, put a what as 1 counter, or more excitingly, proliferate. Very cool. Yep, keeping that one. In fact, maybe I should be setting aside the cards that are going in my... just for me, I'll be setting aside the cards that go in my deck. Right, bear with me. I'm going to do that for the cards I've already set aside. Okay, yeah. Basari's Acolyte as well. Certainly in the consideration pile. Right, sorry about that. Where were we? I hopefully cut that out if I can be bothered. Woodland Mystic, 2 mana Dork, Scaring Surveyor. I remember this from... This is, yeah, see? Dominaria, my first set. very nostalgic for this one. Not an exciting card, got plenty of them, but still nice to see it back. Torak Dread Cantor, I did get, I think, a couple of these in my first Mystery Booster 2 box. Very mean, discard spell, discarding at random is just absolutely miserable. Don't believe it's worth anything, but, and I also don't really want to play it, because I think it's too mean, but still, we'll put it in the Rares and Mythics pile. Limdul's Vault, not a card I've seen. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. As many times as you choose, you may pay 1 life and put those cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Then look at the top 5 of your library. Sorry, this is a hard reading the card, explains the card. This is a good test of that. As many times as you choose, you may pay 1 life. Put those cards at the bottom of the library. Okay, so you get to pick a top 5, basically. Look at the top 5, I don't like that top 5, pay 1 life, put those back. You get to choose the top 5, then put them back in any order. That seems incredibly strong. You get to pick the ideal top 5, and in any order, and all you have to pay is a bunch of life. I mean, great obviously in like life loss, you know, life swap strategies, but isn't that busted? Isn't that really good? I'm surprised I've never heard of this. Obviously in Commander a bit less strong, like if you're really digging for a certain card or something, like, you might have to end up paying, what, 100 cards in the deck divided by 5, 20 times. But even then, like, that's like a 2-mana tutor, like, any card, and that's the floor, right? For 20 life? Isn't that right? Am I missing something? I feel like that's right. That seems really good. Where am I putting you? I don't have a deck you go in, but you're a very, very cool card. Basalt Monolith. Again, classic combo piece. Very cool. Don't know if it's worth anything, but very nice card to see. Man, I'm not even... Apologies if you're into the playtest cards, but I cannot be bothered. I need to save some time somewhere. We're already 24 minutes in, and what, 3 packs? I need to speed things up a little bit. Shouldn't be 24 minutes to you though, if I've done my job and cut some of the complete dead air out. But right, here we are. Nihith Pilgrim, Lifelink Granter, cool. Year of the Pride, we've already got a couple of you, 4 mana, sort of, supercharged Soul Sisters, but for quite a lot of mana, so not super exciting. Serum Visions, classic cantrip. Stormcrow, obviously, classic magic meme, not playable, but still, always pleasing to see. Shade's Form, okay, nice callback to, I'll put it up on screen, the alpha card that you can pay mana into to make it really big. It's pretty good though. A big black mana deck. Predatory Night Stalker. Desert of the Fervent. Pretty art and a very boring land. Sorry, I shouldn't be skipping. Ardent Elementalist. Yeah. 4 mana recur instant sorcery, not very exciting. Wirewood Guardian. Big 6/6 idiot. But you can Forest Cycle, which actually is pretty strong. Be able to like 2-drop a basic land. Pretty nice. Yeah, actually, it's not even a basic. You can 2-drop your Shocks or whatever. Yeah, pretty cool. Feral Hydra enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. Put a 1/1 counter on Feral Hydra. Any player may activate this ability. I'm not seeing why on earth they would, but that is, apart from in some really fringe scenarios. But still, that might actually be playable in my counters deck. Is it? Is that a good enough rate? We'll see. We'll put it in the maybe pile. Star Compass. Not a card I'm familiar with, but I can see why. That is a pretty terrible mana rock. 2 mana rock. At that comes in tapped, and can only tap for colours that you control. Yeah, that's pretty middling. Mazirek, I did not know you were in Mystery Booster 2. I got a copy of this. I bought the Landsack Precon, the World Shaper Precon, and he's in there, so I do already have a copy, but still a cool card. Bedruka Bog, classic, goes in most black decks, because if you're in Commander, we all need more graveyard hate. Got to shut down the graveyard player somehow. Rot Hulk. Again, look at there's so many cool ass cards. Sorry, can I say ass? So many cool cards that I've never heard of. Rot Hulk. Menace. When Rot Hulk enters the battlefield, return X target zombie cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, or X is the number of opponents you have. Okay, big beefy commander card. 7 mana, get 3 zombies out of the graveyard. Seems pretty weak to me. I'm kind of surprised that's a mythic. I mean, it's a cool card, but when you've got, what, Rise of the Dark Realms and various other effects that it's competing with, that seems a little bit on the weak side. But still, cool artwork. Any Future Sight frame I'm delighted with. Right. Besarii Solidarity. 1 count on everything. For 2 mana? It's a pretty good rate, isn't it? I'm pretty close to... I mean, so most of my Commander decks I build out of bulk cards I already have. I was pretty close to running that 6 mana green spell, put 2 counters and everything. So 2 mana, put 1. That seems like a nice rate for my counters deck. Sunder the Gateway. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Incubate 2. Okay, so it's going to incubate theme stuff, but 2 mana to disenchant or is pretty good. Nice card. Very cool artwork as well. That's got to be from the Phyrexian Invasion. Very nice. Drift of Phantasms. With Transmute. Okay, so you're hoping never to play this, at least in Commander. You're just running this as 3 mana, 2-drop, a 3 mana card. Very cool. Might have to go in my to play pile. I'll think about it. Return target creature to its hand. Gain control of all auras and equipment that are attached to it. That is... wow. I've got a couple of friends who play Voltron decks, and that is... that's mean. That is a mean piece of cardboard. Oh, I might have to put it in the to play pile though. That's too mean. Dark Triumph. Cool card. I actually do run this. If you roll a swamp, you may sack a creature. Creatures get +2/+0, so good if you're sort of black, go wide. Wall of Blood. Presumably good if you want to lose a lot of life fast, and presumably not otherwise. Spiteful Prankster. Nice sort of aristocracy looking card, I guess. Pretty weak. 1 damage target player or Planeswalker. That's pretty weak for 3 mana, really. Probably not playable, is it? Blaze. Nice. Okay, so powered down Fireball, I guess, but still, look at that artwork. Very, very nice. I think actually we'll set that aside for my big mana deck. Jaspera Sentinel. Interesting Dork. Again, I feel like I'm showing my ignorance. There's so many cards that I've never heard of. That is interesting. I feel like that might even go in... no, that's probably not. Probably not for Jada, but still very cool. Scale up. Target creature becomes a green worm with power based on... that is so good for go wide decks. That is incredibly fun. I'm going to hang on to that. That's a cool card. Oh, a Slippery Boggle. Very cool. Very glad to have one of these. The original... I don't even know what format this broke. I know this broke a format. Because... yeah, basically 1 mana hexproof turns out to be very, very strong. Draw creatures target player controls. For each creature to die this way, put 2 1/1 red goblin creatures onto the battlefield under that player's control. Very interesting card. Not what I'm familiar with. Presumably you're mainly targeting this at yourself. Well, I guess there's weird stuff you can do in any direction. What a cool, cool card. Not one I'm familiar with. Don't know where it goes, but very neat. Jace Beleren. I don't know if this is the original Jace, but it's only one of the more plain Jane Jaces out there, but still. Nice to see another Jace. Eater of the Dead. Okay. Graveyard Hate, but maybe some other stuff as well. If you have some sort of... if you need something to tap, that's got to be some kind of combo piece, right? Any 0 mana effect. Have we we know. 0 mana, do a thing. There's going to be some way of breaking that, surely. Cool card. Fireball Cost Storm. Sorry, I'm not normally interested in the playtest cards, but some of them do have cool effects. Copy it for each different mana value among spells lands you've played this turn. That's quite fun. Could see that being printed, sort of a more balanced version of Storm. Right, where are we at? 32 minutes in. Blimey O'Reilly. Right. Oh, this pack's giving me some jip. Don't make me break up my scissors. That'd be very embarrassing. There we go. Thank goodness. Close one. Trap Runner. Another Standard Bearer. Nice. Thassa's Emissary. This did absolute work for me in my Mystery Myths 2 draft in Vegas. Off You Can't Refuse. Very nice card to pull. Goes in basically any blue deck in Commander. Very, very nice one to have. I'll set that one aside. Yeah, nice Sliver card. Actually, probably will go in my eventually in my Changeling Tribal deck. Potentially. Seems pretty strong there. And then Night Stalker. Ogre Arsonist. Sort of pretty overcosted land destruction card. Ricochet Trap, nice bit of blue hate. I'm personally, I'm not. I like my respect to the blue players out there. I respect your game, but still, nice to see some fun blue card hate. Druid's Familiar, fairly unexciting Soulbond card, buffs you both up. Vastwood Surge. Okay, 4 mana ramp. 4 mana ramp with counters. Interesting. Might consider that. 8 mana is a lot though for that effect. But 4 mana ramp is fun. We'll see. I'll set that one aside actually. Survivor's Encampment. Sort of pretty mediocre land. Do love seeing the Bolas Horns on any piece of art though. Settler Wreckage. Again, this was a card from soon after I started playing Magic. Yeah, I've never seen it in Commander actually, but it seems like it would be pretty strong there because people hate basic lands in Commander. Cool card. Dragon Age Channeler, I know that's worth a few quid. I think it's played in sort of some of the Eternal formats. Cool pull. Hunting Cheetah, again, another cool card I've never heard of. Lovely Future Sight frame. Ramp, but only if you connect. Ramp to hand as well. That's pretty weak, really, isn't it? Still, though, nice classic piece of artwork. Right. Keep it going. Angelic Exaltation. Again, cool card that I've never heard of. Kind of interesting. It's kind of a maximum version of Exalted. Kind of interesting, actually, in a go wide deck. Tempted by that one. Another Heal of the Pride. Seen you before. Leisure Domain. Swap a creature for a creature. Again, that seems like a pretty cool card that I've never heard of. Very interesting. Silvergill Dowser. Type creature could get -X, -0. Okay, Merfolk Fairies matter. Lovely, nice artwork though. I like that a lot. Bubbling Muck. That seems like a mono black banger. Another sort of mana doubler in probably mono black. Chain of Smog. I feel like this was a really mean card back in the day. Never played against it myself. Tiger Pair discards 2 cards from his or her hand. That player might copy this spell. Okay, I don't know how you break this over your knee, but I know there are ways of doing it. Interesting. I didn't actually know Chain of Vapor was part of a cycle. I don't know what the white, red, or green versions are then in that case. Maybe we'll see them. Let's find out. Slavering Nulls. 2-1. Make people discard a card. Seems pretty strong. If that's what you want to do, then I'm not mean. I don't play discard spells. That seems hideously bad. 4 mana 5/5, discard a card at random from your hand. I can't even tell what's going on in the art. Well, actually, no, I can. People destroying a town. Yeah, interesting. Not my favourite piece of artwork. I feel like all of the focus is on this. I'm not an art guy, but yes, having all the focus in your art being on one incidental piece of horse armour. Yeah, interesting choice. Predator's Howl. Instant, make some wolves. Princelock Spider. Spider, make some more spiders. But actually more relevant now since we just come out of Spider-Man, so you've got to keep an eye on your Spider-Man cards. Who knows, this might be might go from being 1p to 2p any day now. Counter Squall. That is another cool counter spell I've never heard of. 2-mana counter spells, always got to respect. Peer into the Abyss. God, it's one of the most hideous artworks ever, isn't it? Kind of love it, kind of hate it. So slimy. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Okay, so it's good. Presumably this is 7 mana, win the game. if you're running it in your deck. Very cool. Sakura Tri-Bent Welder. Classic. And a Goblin Charbelcher. Very nice. Very cool combo piece in sort of like landless decks. And I've actually lost to it in Commander as well. A pal of mine played some white card never heard of that exiled every plains in his library and then won the game. Well, he's killed someone with this. Very cool. Don't know if I love the artwork so much, but still. Very nice card. Right. Having far too much fun. Going far too slow. Right, Skyfire. Skip through you. Youthful Valkyrie. Yeah, nice Angel Tribal. Windfall. Absolute banger card. It turns out I've got a lot of decks that are going to want Windfall effects. I might even set that aside. There, Tyrant Terror, Big Snake. Very cool artwork though. Hand of Death, 3 mana overcosted kill spell. Oh, but a very cool and very mean piece of art, so, you know. Something for everyone. 3 mana discard spell. Again, we don't play discard because we're not cruel, but pretty good if you want discard. That is a bizarre piece of art and quite a strong effect. Reckless Charge. Or Price of Progress. Again, Commander players, they hate their basics, so this is a very cool card to plop down in Commander. Yeah, you know what, we'll set that aside as well. Yeah, 1 mana, 2/3, not very exciting. Still love the frames though. This is Judgment. This is Judgment. I saw counters and I got excited, but that seems very, very weak, right? That's just a 5 mana kill spell that adds a couple of counters. Not very exciting. Gilda's Commons is exciting though. Very cool part of the kind of like mono white ramp package, like catch up ramp package, where you're trying to reduce your own land count as much as possible, so that you can play the ones that like land tax effects that catch you up. Very cool. Definitely want that. Swans of Bryn Argol, which I'm probably mispronouncing. If a source would deal damage to Swans of Bryn Argol, prevent that damage, the source's control draws cards equal to the damage prevented this way. That's very cool. That's very cool, actually. So I'm kind of on the side, potentially brewing up a Sonic deck, which is a phrase I never thought I'd say, but the effect, as soon as I saw it in paper, I was like, that's a cool effect. I want to hit my stuff and get treasures. This seems like it'd be very good there, right? Like, it doesn't have flash or flying, but it's kind of playing into the same game plan of hit your own stuff for value. I think we'll set that to one side. Mystic Sanctuary and then the Rack. Cool, very cool old card. Lovely frame. What's not to love? Diversionary Tactics. Probably very good in certain kind of tap deck, but tap decks are also pretty mean, so not for me. Another Youthful Valkyrie, straight on the commons to uncommons pile. Another mean discard effect, Voldalian. Yeah, Voldalian Hypnotist. Exhaustion. The beginning of your opponent's next turn, he or she skips untapping his or her creatures or lands. Seems pretty terrible in Commander, and is mean, so straight in the junk pile for me. Moment of Defiance, pretty unexciting pump spell, but some quite nice art. Hey, another the card I was rude about, and actually similar complaints as well. Hasty 4 mana 3/3. Were that you were still playable, my slightly kinkily dressed friend. Cool artwork. Don't know where you'd ever go. Might be errata to have the Minotaur creature type, I don't know. Maybe one day we get Minotaur support. But until then, in the bulk bin you stay. Okay, Fireheart Wolf gives everything menace, presuming that's been errated, I'd guess. Seems pretty good, actually. Pretty good in the sort of red, go wide sort of strategy. I quite like that. And it gets countered when it comes back. Interesting. And who doesn't like a pretty doggo on their card? Maybe we'll set you aside. Young Wolf. Grizzly Fate. Make some bears. Very cool old artwork. Very cool frame. Frenetic Sliver. All slivers in play have 0. If this creature is in play, flip a coin. If you win the flip, remove this creature from play and then return it to play under its own before the end of turn. If you lose the flip, sack it. What a bizarre effect. I kind of love it though. One day I might build a coin flip or dice foley deck. So potentially good in blink strategies, but or as protection, I don't know. It's wacky. I like it. Ancestor Dragon. Okay. Big life gain idiot. Kind of surprised that's in here at rare. Seems pretty mid to me, but still, if you're in life gain, why not? You still earn your spot in the rare pile. Elvish Spirit Guide, however, much more playable if you're looking for some fast mana. Whoa! Lovely, lovely Dark Ritual. And in Future Sight frame as well. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll put that straight in the pile of goodies for me. Don't know where that's going to go, but it's going to go in something pretty quickly, because that is lovely to look at. Miraculous Recovery. Okay, haste something out of the graveyard. Banger art. Well, actually, do I like that art? It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. Something about that is, yeah, it's cool looking, but quite sinister. Generous gift. Very playable, but do have quite a few. Merfolk with the Pearl Trident. Something about having this empty box feels a little bit insulting. Like, couldn't you have? I don't think they style it that way anymore. It feels pointed. Like you have no abilities. You are worthless. Willbender, wacky morph card for not countering spells but redirecting them. Fledgling Jin, I guess maybe good if you want to be hitting yourself. Playable somewhere probably. Stir the Sands, make some zombies. Not terribly exciting to me, but Fiery Impulse, slightly upgraded Shock, cool art. Unchained Berserker, that's one of those ultra realistic faces that presumably is either the artist or someone close to the artist, I would guess. Does he look a bit like me? He's got like a hot version of me, right? Not an exciting card, but actually no, now that I look closer, there is absolutely no resemblance beyond having a beard. Yeah, but still, I got excited for a second. I might have found my doppelganger. 5 mana, Terrible Ramp. But you do get a 4/4, so, and a pretty pretty old border. Llanowar Visionary, good in your elf decks. Actually, probably not really. There's so many flipping elves, aren't there? 3 mana Dork probably does not make the cut. Unmake. Ugh. Grizzly art. Love that. Not a big fan of a 3 mana kill spell, but, you know, still. In removal.deck, might see you some play. Dragon Lair Spider. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, create. Oh my god, that is so good in my Rada deck. That is so good. I had no idea it existed, and this is part of the fun of Mystery Boosters to me. Like, there's so many cards. Like, I know you can Scryfall all of this stuff. This is probably like a 50p card on Card Market, but it's so much more fun pulling it out of the pack. And I wouldn't have even known what to Scryfall to find this card, but that is an absolute banger. Straight in my pile. Hollow One, cool card. I've not even mentioned it, but the white border is as well super nostalgic for me. This used to be ultra playable in some old formats, I believe Legacy. If you're sort of just getting free 4/4s if you're discarding lots of stuff, very cool. I don't know if it sees any play anymore. I'm super out of touch with Constructed. Engineered Explosives, I believe, was also a playable Eternal formats, right? Again, no idea if it still is, but lovely future sight. Right, let's speed through some more packs. I've got no idea how many in we are, but I'm still seeing a lot in the box. Seraph of the Dawn, Flying, Lifelink, pretty dull. Shattered Angel, Banging Art, probably good in life game. Telekinetic Sliver, good in Sliver tap decks? Question mark? I don't know. Still a cool Sliver. 3-mana counter that you can cycle, pretty dull, but again, there's barely any misses on the artwork front, and that's another strong one. Raider's Wake, yeah, very nice if you're wanting to make people discard cards, but that's not me, baby. I don't like making people discard things, but if you want to do that, that seems pretty strong. Sengir Autocrat, what a funny card. Make 3/1 black surf creatures. Okay, we're doing feudalism wrapped up into one card. That seems pretty good, like an aristocrats deck. Probably very good. If you're doing sort of, Ashnod's Altar shenanigans or whatever. That is a cool card. Even if feudalism, not cool. Magmor. Pretty awesome art. Pretty terrible effect, I gotta imagine. There's so many free sack outlets that paying 1 even to do 1 damage, pretty weak. Boarding Party. Hasty 6/3 with Cascade. That is more interesting. What's the flavour here? I've always took Cascade to be a very, as magic. I know all of Magic's full of magic and the supernatural, but Cascade always felt like quite a supernatural effect to me. What are 3 Angry Pirates doing that's summoning something from the ether? I don't know. Weird card, weird flavour, but I like it. Castoderm. Whenever an artifact comes into play, remove +1/+1 counter from Castoderm. That seems pretty useless in a game of Commander, which is the main format I care about. Interesting. I don't know if this came out at the same time as Blastoderm, or if this is a Blastoderm callback, but interesting. And what's happening here? It's dying of some sort of wasting condition, I guess, that's in some way caused by artifacts. Weird card, weird flavour. Might be playable somewhere, I don't know. Call of the Herd, make some elephants, as you can tell by the elephants. Very nostalgic, very boring. Archway Commons, pretty bad mana fixing land. Crystalline Crawler, however. Actually, might be. Is that playable in counters? I mean, I guess Commander, right? Everything's playable if you're willing to lower the power level. But making mana at instant speed for counters, that seems pretty strong. I don't know if I've got one of those. I'll put that in the maybe pile. Ghost Quarter, another Eternal format staple, I believe, for getting rid of scary non-basics. But it doesn't give you a land back, so pretty rough to play in Commander compared to a... I can't think what they're called now. There's a couple of others that give you a land back as well. Spike Weaver, very cool card. Already do have one, already in the counters maybe pile, because basically 1 mana fog in exchange for removing a counter seems very strong to me. I hope I'm holding up the cards enough. I probably am not. Maybe we'll learn our lesson for later packs. Maybe we won't. It's hard. Avon Squire, Flying, Exalted. Cute. Not very exciting. Afterlife, 3 mana kill spell, give them a 1/1. Kind of pretty decent, but I feel like being very much power crept by Stroke of Midnight, but I do love that artwork though. Aetherize, very solid card. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hands. Very neat. Pirate's Prize, draw 2. I wonder if I need that for one of my decks. My sort of Stormy Wizards deck. I'm going to set that to one side, just in case. Dockside Chef. Already got a couple, still very cool. Decent sack outlet for giving you cards. And only 1 mana as well. Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Pretty unexciting life game payoff with some very cool artwork. Convulsing Liquid. Very confusing block of text for a weird little removal spell that you can sort of bounce around. Very cool classic artwork. Needle Drop. Deals 1 damage to target creature player that was dealt damage this turn. That is cute. Is that playable in Sonic? That might be playable in Sonic. I don't know. I don't know if I like the artwork very much. That's making me slightly uncomfortable. I think the scale of it is slightly threatening. Summit Apes. As long as you control a mountain, Summit Apes can't be blocked. Okay. Conditionally menace you. 5/2 for 4. Terrible card. Very cool artwork. Frozen Voreen. Okay, got Provoke. What the hell? What the heck is the Provoke keyword? When this attacks, you may have target treated defender player controls untap and block it if able. It's a very cool, wacky removal spell, but there's some potential upside in certain situations. Okay, Gemstone Mine, nice sort of colour fixing. I feel that was probably going to be worth a couple of quid, because I think that's like a CDH playable and seems like something that's going to be played in Eternal formats as well. Because perfect mana fixing at the cost of going away eventually. Well, if the game's over by turn 2, who the heck cares? Very cool. Oh, Golgari Grave Troll. I've never seen one of these in person. The Dredge Menace himself. Or herself, I guess it's not super clear. Skeletons, very hard to gender. And why would you want to? Why would you want to gender a skeleton? Best way to gender a skeleton, ask them their pronouns. It's got a lot of text that does not matter at all, because all we care about is the Dredge 6 that broke open, I believe, Legacy back in the day, and I think got banned, unbanned, and then rebanned. I've never even read the text on it. All you care about is the Dredge 6. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting countersy card, but the Dredge Valley, that's what we're there for. Thornbite Staff. I know this is another revolting combo piece in certain decks. I've definitely been killed by this in Commander a couple of times. This creature deals 1 damage to any target, and when a creature dies, untap this creature. It seems very expensive to me, but I know this to be a broken combo piece in decks that probably won't be on screen, but you know, I could be if I wasn't lazy. Reset. Cast a spell only during the opponent's turn after their upkeep step. Untap all lands you control. With some nice Whirlpool-y art. And a nice Future Sight frame. Never heard of you, and I can see why. That seems pretty weak, but maybe they wouldn't have put it in Future Sight frame if it wasn't good. I don't know. We'll find out. Bard. Bard and Post will come in. Ward Sliver, more slivers. All slivers protection with the chosen colour. Pretty good. Step Links, classic landfall card. Shimmering Glass Kite. I'm going to need a second pile of bulk, really, aren't I? Cover the target spell ability the first time. Counter that spell. Interesting. Wing Splicer. I like these Splicer cards. There's a few of them. That make 3/3 golems and then do stuff to golems. Nice sort of payoff potentially for a deck with a lot of golems. Cabal Pit. Again, I didn't realise I've got a couple of the red version of the this cycle. Don't have the black one yet. And that seems pretty weak unless you're trying to hit yourself in the face, which you might want to. Morbid Opportunist, however, absolute ultra staple. Not worth anything, but still a very cool card to have some dupes. Fiery Impulse, we've already seen. Remnant Ruins. Interesting, but bad. Looking Redland. Final Growth. Kick a sacrifice a creature. So it's 3 mana ramp if you sack something. That's kind of interesting. Never heard of you. Very good in some decks, I imagine, if you're looking to do Golgari sack stuff. Wasteland Viper. Opulent Palace. Ooh, Gadok Teague. Nice, very nice Staxy piece. Non-creature spells with converted cost from 4 later can't be cast. I might have to put that in my counters deck. Is that too mean? I feel like it's fairly slow, like fairly moderate stacks, really. I might have to. I'll put that in the maybe pile. I used to watch quite a lot of Legacy, and I felt like LOT was extremely good there. Unholy Heat, white border, nothing else to say, and a very nice Future Sight Brainstorm in the classic art. Very cool. Empty Shrine Kanushi. 1 mana with protection from the colours of permanents you control. Pretty cool. Raise the Alarm. An absolute classic card. Not super playable. I don't think I've ever seen this art. This might be the original art for all I know. Very nice. Waker of Waves. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-0. But you can discard it and look at the top 2. Okay, so it's kind of like a 2 mana card replacement effect. Get something in the graveyard. That probably is playable, especially if you're doing some kind of reanimation strategy. I quite like that. Set Adrift for one sort of potentially sort of low cost bounce spell if you can do some delving. Not very strong looking, but still kind of interesting. Virtue's Ruin, destroy all white. What a gorgeous piece of art! I can't even tell what I'm looking at there. I don't want to put the camera out of focus again. Some sort of awful black sludge filling this gorgeous town. Very, very cool. Love the border as well. Dimir House Guard, none of those transmute cards. So you're probably mainly playing this if you want to get a specific 3 mana card out of your library. But maybe you also want a 2/3 with Fear as well. Fanning the Flames, love these buyback cards. Nice sort of like win con in slower decks, at least in Commander. Another one, another buyback card. Seething Anger, this time a creature buffer. Hunted Wampus. When Hunted Wampus comes into play, each other player may put a creature card from his or her hand. Okay, it's a nice sort of show and tell effect that I probably should have heard of. Not a big fan of that artwork myself. Well, no, what am I talking about? That's neat. It's weird. And that's a cool card. Mobilize. Untap all creatures. Probably good if you are copying this somehow for nasty combos. Otherwise, pretty unexciting, apart from the gorgeous looking old artwork. I don't know if that's an actual water card. Oh, it's Rebecca Gay, of course. No wonder it's stunning. Nomad Oak Post. Nice 3 mana fixing. How to Sequel Dreams. I guess that's a rare. Not a very exciting rare, but it's a rare. Much more excited about Veteran Explorer. Weird card. Everyone gets to ramp, but very cool, especially if you can recur him and make more use of your lands than your opponents. Very nice. Meekstone. Powers of creatures with power feel greater don't untap during the controller's untap step. Pretty conditional piece of stacks he hates. Not super exciting to me, but if you want to do a sort of white weenie strategy. Actually, I guess even if you white weenie, what am I talking about? If you go low creature, or no creature stacks, it's probably quite playable. Something I didn't mention at the top, my buddy let me know that apparently there's only 1 foil per box, which I didn't realise when I opened my original. So the box I opened last year, I got a foil Doomsday that is absolutely gorgeous, but we've not hit our foil yet, so let's see what we get. Stonecloaker, flash 3/2, when it comes into play, return a creature you control to its owner's hand, and a bit of incidental graveyard hate. Kind of interesting. Maybe going in Sonic? Maybe. But it's not a May effect to bounce something, so that's pretty harsh, I'd say. Bone Reaver Giant, Tutor and Aura out, pretty spenny for that effect though. Last Step Plating, I remember playing this in Limited. You and Permanency Fog and Hex Reaver, pretty strong actually, with a nice little incidental amass 1. Wall of Tears, that is a gorgeous piece of art, but very, very nice. And a creature you really don't want to attack into, unless you want your stuff bounced for some reason. Audacious Thief, pretty strong attack trigger there if you can abuse that. Siege Gang Lieutenant. Sort of goblin payoff if you're into Rakdosi goblins. Crag Smasher Yeti. Backup, blah blah blah. Sort of 6-mana big idiot. Reckless Impulse. Pretty unexciting. Impulse draw. Hero's Bane. That's an interesting one for counters. Probably a bit expensive though, 4 mana to... Yeah, it's basically a 5 mana 4/4. Seems pretty slow to me. Winding Way, sort of land or creature tutor. Is it Boilerworks? One of the nice bounce lands. Master of Waves, very cool. Again, another card that did well for me in my draft. Yeah, very nice. This is just a cute effect, right? Like he makes these very unusual tokens that are 1/0s, so they would immediately die if they weren't also getting buffed by Master of Waves. So as soon as you get rid of him, they all go away. But yeah, cool card. Ash Barons. Qatari's War Wage, not a card I'm familiar with. All artifacts at the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 1. What a nasty piece of stacks. I quite like that though. If you're playing no artifacts, that is interesting. And again, cool art, lovely future sight frame. Very cool. I think I might put that in somewhere. What does that 2 mean? No, well, we'll see. Right. How are we doing? So we got, I think, 9 cards left. We're doing great. I don't know how many there were originally in the box. 30? 24? Either way, no, I'm going to be well over halfway. Still haven't seen our foil yet. Recumbent Bliss. Sort of, removal spell that also then gets you incidental life gain. Quite cool. Another Shattered Angel. Coastal Piracy. Very cool effect in a very cool frame. Definitely going to be playing that one somewhere. Whenever a creature makes contact, you draw a card. Yeah, put that in the for me pile. Target player draws 2, discards 2. Pretty solid effect on a slightly overcosted card, but a gorgeous piece of art. Look how well dressed that Keflid is. Scrapwork Wager. Enter, draw a card, lose life. Not very exciting, but you can unearth it. Another Aerialist. A red, discard and draw. Pretty overcosted one though. Falter, nice one for getting it. I do already have one of these in this wacky art that I quite enjoy, but actually quite good for sneaking in a big sort of big hit late game. Potagia Viper, weird card that makes a lot of 1/1s if you paid a blue into it as well. But even with the ceiling on it's pretty low. But cool artwork. Trollbed Guardian, again. In theory, one that could go in my counters deck, but that seems pretty slow to me. Razorfin Hunter, tap, deal damage, probably a combo piece. Actually, is that playable in Sonic? Probably not. Just making me treasure each turn. Our first foreign language card. I'm assuming that's just flavor text though, and this is just, I don't know the English name, but something Saw, I'm guessing. Gigantosaur, Massivosaur. 5 mana 10/10, very cool. I like that quite a lot. Don't think it's good enough for my decks though. Iona Shield of Emeria. I believe this is banned in Commander, isn't it? I believe so. I think this is because anything that stops you people casting their commanders, people tend to not be a fan of. So if you can reanimate this, that's a very cool card though. Love that artwork. Love it in the white border. Absolutely gorgeous. Cabal Ritual, another lovely. I love the Future Sight frame so much. Very good fast mana card for black. Cool. Jotun Owlkeeper, 3 mana 3/3, cumulative upkeep and a piston graveyard play, make a 1/1 bird. For each age counter on it. That's more interesting. wonder if you can do some proliferate shenanigans. Probably not worth it, because your payoff is getting some 1/1 birds, but still cute. Never heard of you, but neat. Another Afterlife. Have seen you. I know my Wave Watch. Pretty boring out, but look at the gorgeous artwork. Even anytime I'm about to dismiss a card as being terrible mechanically, which this is, to be fair, I will spot that there is some stunning artwork on the card as well. Cloak of Feathers, 1 mana, nice cantrip, but again with some gorgeous artwork. Merciless Executioner. That's another flesh bag. Is that identical to Flesh Bag Marauder? Apart from obviously being an Orc Warrior instead. Maybe I'll check. Maybe it'll be on screen now. Another flesh bag that I'd never heard of. Stir the Sands. Have seen you, however. Lunar Frenzy. Cool if you've got a lot of mana to dump into something. That's actually quite interesting. I might give that one side for my big mana deck. Swarming Goblins. When it enters, roll a d20. Make a 1/1. Okay. Pretty weak unless you're rolling loads of dice. Utopia Vow. Charm this creature can't attack or block, but you can tap it then for mana. It's a pretty weak version of one of those removal spells. Arrogant Worm. 5 mana 4/4, which could be a 3 mana 4/4. Neither of which I'm excited about, but do love the frame. Ornithopter Paradise, however, much more playable. Hazoret the Fervent I do already have, but is a very cool card. It was an absolute monster in Limited, and I believe Standard as well. If you can get down to 0 cards in hand in 60 card, this is very strong. Probably not going to get there for. Well, I'm sure someone's interested in this in Commander, but much less strong because 5 damage just matters a lot less. But still cool. Leyline of the Void, very mean card. Nice to have a copy though. Rain of Daggers. 6 mana, destroy all creatures target opponent controls. You lose 2 life for each creature destroyed this way. I mean, cool flavour. Mechanically though, for Commander, that is amazingly garbage. Because 4 mana is the going rate for a good board wipe. So 6 mana to only target 1 opponent, and you lose life. You can't even target yourself for some fringe upside. I mean, unless you're really determined to kill yourself, I do not get it. But still, someone might be excited about it. Let me know in the comments if you're excited about Rain of Daggers. Please feel free to hop into my comments. Where is this playable? In fact, please do, if you're watching this and you know of any use for Rain of Daggers, please let me know. Because even in Life Lost, that's surely too situational, like a Life Lost deck. Condemn, however, much more playable. 1 mana removal spell. Always gets overshadowed by Swords to Plowshares, but still very good. Loam Lion, rubbish. And quite boring artwork as well. I feel like I'm getting voodoo as this pack opening goes on. It takes a while to crack through these things while yapping on camera at the same time. Sky Spawner. I do also remember this one from when I was getting into Magic. Avoid flying, and to put a 1/1. Yeah, pretty dull. As dull as I remembered. Because Dominaria I played a lot of, but I think the first... Was that before or after Battle for Zendikar? I think Battle for Zendikar was the first time I cracked packs. Because I had played Magic before, like dual decks and stuff, back at school. I think Battle for Zendikar was the first time I cracked packs, and Dominaria was my first pre-release. Anyway, what am I doing? Yapping on. Owl Familiar, 2 mana, 1/1, flying. Draw card and discard. Pretty dull. Weird art. Kind of interesting though. Sever Soul. Wow, that is an expensive kill spell. With some weird art. Hey, another of my autocrats. I love this autocrat dude. I've never heard of you before, but I think that's a really fun card. Solar Blast. Pretty weak. 4 mana deal 5. Blah, blah. Words. 4 mana deal 3, or 3 mana draw a card deal 1. Neither's very exciting. Still love the old border. Speaking of unexciting, Arms Dealer. 1/1 that you can pay 2 and sack a different goblin to deal 4 damage to target creature. Actually, you can sack an other goblin. I guess that's more playable, but still, for 3 mana, that's pretty slow. Wall of Roots, a card I'm mainly familiar with. Because there used to be some, like, there was some broken combo you could do where, like, technically there was, like, a between turns phase, right? I learned about this in Heuristic Studies video, where you could make infinite mana between turns, but there was nothing to do with it until they printed another card where you could, like, put infinite counters on this and it wouldn't die due to state-based effects, and then you could do something with it. I can't remember. I'll probably link the video. It's a really cool one, but I think we've removed the between turns phase, and this is now fairly average mana dork. Biogenic upgrade. Do already have one of you in my counters deck, and I'm not even sure it's strong enough there, but potentially interesting encounters, but flipping expensive. Inside Out. Whoa, that artwork is unpleasant to look at. We're looking at a poor elf get inverted. I don't feel like that's what switching your power and toughness would look like. I mean, I feel like if you turn someone inside out, I feel like that'd be slightly more lethal than making you a bit punchier, but maybe, yeah. You get what I'm saying. I get what they're going for with the art, but that is a weird illustration of that. Saden's temperament didn't take well to the Puka's magic, nor did his face. Blimey O'Reilly. Consuming Aberration. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card, and then puts those lands into their graveyard. Okay. That seems pretty weak, but kind of interesting. Simeon's Spirit Guide, classic, not worth anything, but still love having an extra copy. Hey, Zombie Master. I don't care, but somebody wanted one of these, right? I think a buddy, Tom, if you're watching, I believe it's you. You wanted the Zombie Master, and I've got a Zombie Master. Other zombie creatures have Swamp Walk, other zombies have one regenerate this permanent. Very cool if you are in zombies. And I believe one of my buddies is. I'll set that to one side for you. Check out, we are a little bit low on time. Belfry Spirit. I can't possibly be good. I'm just fine. I'll read it. 5 mana, Haunt. When it dies, exile haunting target creature. Okay, so it comes in as a 1/1, dies, comes back haunting something. When that dies, you make 2 1/1s. Pretty terrible. Step Linked, also pretty terrible. Flying Protection from green, pretty terrible. Gorgeous artwork though. Brilliant Plan, 5 mana, draw 3. Very boring. Cool art. We're starting a new bulk pile before I cause a horrible mess. Endless Scream, cool in big black mana decks. Stupor, seen you before. We're not mean, we don't play discard. Furious Rise, very cool Phyrexian Arena kind of effect in red, except doing sort of the impulse draw thing. Zada, Hedron Grinder, I believe you are a really miserable commander, because you had a combo again with a cheese sandwich. Whenever you cast a sorcery spell that targets only Zada, copy that spell for each other creature you control, and the spell could target. Yeah, that's got revolting combos written all over it, but still cool to pull a copy. My first one. Stinger Fling Spider. 5 mana 2/5, kill something with flying, not exciting, apart from maybe if you're in Spider-Man, I don't know. Penumbra Kavu, 3/3 that makes a 3/3, pretty dull. Gorgon Flail. 4 mana give Death Touch, pretty dull. Godfairy's Gift, not dull. Not worth very much, I don't think worth anything, but very cool recursion piece. Exile creatures, make 4/4 copies of them. Very nice. I'll put that in the rares pile. I can't remember if I've been remembering to do that, there's probably some rares in here, we'll find out. Basilisk Gate, nice little gate payoff. Stifle, very cool card in 60 card. I don't think it's probably playable super in Commander unless you really want to shut somebody down, because that's pretty niche. But yeah, very cool artwork. Love the frame. Very nice. Right, almost down to the last layer. I still haven't seen my foil, so assuming we were right about there being a foil Future Sight frame in here, we still have not hit it. Let's see what it is. Maybe it'll be a second Doomsday. Reverend Hoplite. Create 1/1s equal to your devotion to white. That's quite interesting. I might be tempted to play that, but not sure. One of the basic alarm. Aqueous Form. Creature can't be blocked. That's quite neat. And bizarre artwork that I quite like. Mirror Image. 3 mana clone. That seems like a very good rate for a clone effect. I guess you're limited to creatures that you control, but still, 3 mana for a clone. Pretty good rate. Vampiric Link. That is a cool, very obvious card that I've never heard of. Whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. That seems like a very nice combo piece if you're doing any of the... If you're a commander player, you know the black combos I'm thinking of. Whenever I deal damage, I gain that much life. Whenever I gain life, you will take damage. One of those kind of loops. Seems like another option for those. Another Siege Gang Lieutenant. And whenever you activate ability of a Sarkhan Planeswalker, flipping heck, that's pretty niche, isn't it? Might be playable once. Swelter, 4 mana, deal 2 to 2 things. Rubbish. But what the heckin' is happening in that artwork? Something really horrible is happening to 2 squid creatures. Oh, there's probably cephalids, aren't there? We saw a cephalid earlier. Okay, 2 cephalids being cooked. How grisly. Tireless Provisioner, great cards. Landfall, make a treasure. Ultra playable in basically any green deck. Vines of Vastwood, very cool green combat trick. Rustvale Bridge, I like nice having an artifact land. I had to buy a few of those recently for a deck, and I wouldn't have had to if I'd had that. Brightling. I feel like I've just seen a nice little hit behind Brightling. But let's look at Brightling first. Gains Vigilance, gains Lifelink, returns on its hand, and buff it. Weird, wacky card. Lovely artwork. Don't know if I'm excited to play it, but pretty cool. Bolas Citadel, however, very cool card. I do already have a copy, and I'm only probably going to make one big mana black deck, so this is one that's going to go straight to my local game store, but still, very nice pull. Very nice pull. Equilibrium. This absolutely... Excuse me, revolting. Equilibrium dominated in the Mystery Beasts 2 draft that I did, because paying 1 mana to bounce something whenever you cast a creature is simply not fair in one-on-one. Much more fair in Commander, but still. Cool card, nice abstract art, very cool. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we're still doing okay for time. We'll shoot the wrap up afterwards. We've got an errand to run after these last couple of packs, and then we'll come back to price things up. Sorry, right. Abzan Battle Priest. Outlast. Another weird effect, another weird keyword that doesn't seem to need to be a keyword. Put a counter, tap. But each creature controls 1/1 counters lifelink. That I am more interested in. Lots of incidental life gain. We'll put that in the maybe pile. Love some life gain. Can you tell I'm a bad deck builder? This is my deck building process. Like, ooh, cool, in it goes. Another Bone Weaver Giant. Whirlpool Drake. Comes into play. Shuffle the cards from your hand into a library, then draw that many cards. Interesting effect. I'm going to put into a graveyard, do the same again. I like that a lot. Very cool. Surprised, never heard of you. Thought Courier. Tap 1, draw 1, discard. A bit of a boring looter. But still fairly strong, if you want to be filling your graveyard. Yeah, that's a OT. Zombie get +1/+0. Pay 2 seems pretty fair, which is a kind way of saying not very good. Feed the Swarm. The infamous Colour Pie Break. Giving black enchantment removal. I can't pretend to be upset about it. I don't really care. But some people are very upset by this card. But it's obviously very playable, especially if you're mono black and need to get rid of some enchantments. Ancient Hydra, 5 mana fading. Goodness me, that seems pretty terrible. 1 mana to deal 1 to something in a limited number of times. Fun, wacky art though. Firecat Blitz. Hasten a bunch of 1/1 cats. That's pretty fun in my Rada deck, but I don't want to sack mountains. No, maybe it's not. Enlarge. 5 mana, give a creature +7/+7. It must be blocked. Yeah, pretty overcost the pump spell, but there's some very cool art. Assault Formation. Each creature control deals combat damage equal to its toughness rather than power. Seems like a pretty weak defender's meta card to me, but defender players, let me know. Maybe it's stronger than it looks. Letter of Acceptance. 3 mana rock. Oh, a very unexciting 3 mana rock. There you go. Pandemonium. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player of his or her choice. That is much more exciting, especially with finding it hitting people a lot. I like that quite a lot. Rare pile, sorry for you. Reliquary Tower. I actually need one of these. Nice, ultra playable. Probably overplayed lots in Commander, but in certain decks, very useful. Rest in Peace. Lovely future sight frame. Very mean against graveyard decks. No other upside, so it's just a pure hate piece, but we don't mind a little bit of hate here. Three packs to go. Maybe 4. I can't tell. Hand of Honor, protection for Black Bushido, another old keyword. Pretty unexciting card in 2025. On the Sun of the Gateway, we've seen you before. Flash of Insight. Look at the top cards, draw 1. That seems pretty weak, but still kind of interesting. Venomancer, enter the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you return 3 lands you control. I don't know. Goodness me. Okay, so you're turning people into goats, but why am I returning so many lands? Why are you so land hungry? I feel like this would be barely playable even without bouncing the 3 lands. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a mono blue landfall deck that really wants that. Footbottom Feast, gonna get stuff out of your graveyard. Unfairly Revolting Art. Glintleaf Winnower. Very janky 5 mana killer thing. Torrent of Fire. Again, a very janky 5 mana deal damage to a thing. Spite Bellows. Another pretty janky deal damage to thing, this time 6 damage. So you can evoke it, so it's got a 6 mana, 6 damage for 3 mana, or yeah, you get it. You know how evoke works. Not very exciting, but fun art. Fate Offering, however, I do already have a copy from, I think, my previous Mystery Booster too, but very cool effect. Making loads of tokens if you cast a creature and a non-creature. I really like that effect. I'd love to build around it. I don't know where it's going to go, but it's cool. Prosperous Innkeeper. Make a treasure, and then gain some life. Yeah, neat card for certain decks. A very boring tap land. And Ikra Shidhi the Usurper. I've already got one of you, and you seemed pretty weak to me when I found you last time. I guess you're a partner commander, gives access to 2 colours, could be worse. In a life gain strategy, maybe you want this, but that's pretty expensive for gaining some life. Prismatic End. Oh, there's our foil. Spoilers. But first, Prismatic Ending. Exile target permanent whose mana value is less than or equal to the number of colours or mana spent to cast this spell. Pretty bad. White kill spell. And then our Mimi's Guile in the foil. I don't know if this is worth much, but I got a Mimi's Guile on my previous pack, non-foil, that I believe was about £7 or something, so that might be worth a few bob. I believe it's playable in CDH and a few other places as well. Very nice. We'll put you in a separate pile. And 2 more packs to go, and then this marathon is completed. Angelic Favour, weird old white spell. Back when they let white have instant speed, make a person as long as they only existed in combat. Make a 4 mana, 4/4 instant speed only during combat, and then get rid of it. Not very playable, very fun though. Portable Hold, seen you already. Pentrol Drake, boring 4 mana 2/3 with cool art. Killer Whale, boring 5 mana 3/5 with cool art. Shepherd of Rot, probably quite good in zombie decks. Wall of Blood, we've seen you already. Balduvian Warlord, very wacky, quite wacky effect. So much text, I think, to do not very much. Basically, you can if something that's blocking, you can make it block something else. But that's a big cost for a very niche effect. Goblin Side, make 1/1 goblins if you pay 1. Yeah, pretty nice in my Spell Slinger deck. I do already have a copy though. Wirewood Channeler, probably very good in a big old Elf Ball deck, but elves do have a lot of cards to pick from. Evolution Charm, pretty weak effects, but it's a charm, so you do have a lot of, you're here for the modality, not for any individual effect. Yeah, kind of interesting. Boggart Ram Gang, 3-mana 3/3 with Wither and Haste. This is kind of interesting, but people just won't let you, just won't block you, and then you're just hitting them for free, so fairly unexciting. Arcanist the Omnipotent, 6 mana, tap to draw 3. I think I already got one of these in my an old precon I picked up. Pretty interesting effect, but that's a lot of mana. King Assassin, destroy target tapped creature, act only during your turn before attacks are declared. So first main phase, so card. Interesting. Oh, and a Memnite. I do need a Memnite. That's going in my Renmore deck. Right. We made it. This is the last pack. Cleric class. Cool, life-gainy, payoff sort of deck. I might even be tempted to play that. Bard Spike, I've already seen you. Majestic Metamorphosis. Intended turn, target artifact creature becomes a 4/4 angel, gains flying, and draw a card. Pretty neat. Annex. Weird blue ramp, pseudo ramp. You control enchanted land. Like it quite a lot. Feign Death, we all know what Feign Death does. Scourge Familiar we saw already, but you are very cool. Explosive Welcome. Blimey, you're expensive. 8 mana, deal 5 and deal 3 and add 3. Okay. That seems absolutely terrible. But, very nice art. Electrostatic Field. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery, deal 1 to each opponent. Pretty cool if you're looking to do sort of group sluggy things. Symbiotic Beast. Makes them 1/1 insects when it dies. Always put into the graveyard. Pretty neat. Timberland Ancient. Cycling Big Green Idiot. Cure Behemoth Beckoner. Classic Planeswalker from... it's got to be from that set where they introduced all the uncommon Planeswalkers. One of the big bolus attack sets. Oh, that's a Ajani the Great Herd. Creature can have Vigilance. That's going straight into my counters deck. Well, that's nice. I like that. Pretty fair, but pretty good. Kitchen Finks, classic combo piece. Anything with Persist, you got to look out for being a combo piece. And because as soon as you... Persist is you come back with a -1/-1, but if you can't get any counters, you can loop these things near infinitely. Cunning Wish. Tutor up, instant put into hand. Pretty cool. And that's our lot. That is a nice empty box. Well done us. So, we started, well, we'll come back for the wrap up. So, Bard here again for the wrap up. So this is a tasteful spread of what we got. I've done an initial bit of pricing up as well. And it seems like we did okay today. Again, we're not in this for the finances, but it seems like a decent number of hits. Nothing too crazy. So Urza's Saga out of pack 1 was obviously our big one. But good number of hits, worth over £5 or so, which is nice. Sort of bigger ones in the middle. And what else to say? Oh yeah, Rain of Daggers, £4 card, somehow. I could obviously look it up, what makes this card good, but I'd much rather someone told me, because I do not understand. I'm infamously, in my play group, a fairly bad evaluator of cards, a bad evaluator of board states. I cannot conceive of a multiplayer or single player context in which this is remotely playable. Yeah, Miri's Guile was our foil pick for the pack. Not one I'm super excited about. I know it is playable in like CDH and other contexts, but it's not one I can slot into any of my decks. Oh. Camera? You going crazy? I saw you glitching out there. You done? I hope you're done. But yes, what was I saying? Yes, really enjoyed cracking these packs. I love Mystery Booster 2, as I said. Just looking at it all laid out, it's crazy how cool the cards are, how cool the pools are. Like, part of the reason I'm not a big fan of cracking boxes normally is after the first 3 or so packs, you've seen a good number of the commons. After you've seen half the box, you've seen all of the commons and most of the uncommons, and at a certain point, you're just not interested. But as you can see, even down to the last pack, random commons in this set are, I've never heard of you, you're interesting. Even if you're unplayable, it's still just a good time. And you end up with a super diverse range of random pulls from Magic's history. Very, very cool stuff. I don't know if I'll do more box cracks in future. I found it harder than I expected to keep up the talking. I'll try and cut it down, I think, for you for time, but yeah, I'm sort of yapping away for a good hour and a half, which is, yeah, it's hard to make yourself talk out loud as you are thinking. I'm sure you get used to it, but like, big respect to you. If you are a professional pack cracker, box opener, respect. It is not an easy thing to do, to keep saying even remotely interesting things while also cracking them open. And probably, on balance, a bit less enjoyable for me. I'll enjoy editing this video because I like the video making process, but sorry, I should say, I'll add another time code where you can skip my reflections on the box cracking process. That's not what you're here for. You're here to look at the nice pulls. But just, yeah, if you do end up subscribing to me, I wouldn't hold your breath in the short term for more box cracks. Having said that, I'm definitely planning on opening those Edge of Eternity's boxes I won, but I'll probably just rip through those a lot faster, and I'll be just there looking for some spicy rares and reminiscing about the format, whereas this was a much more methodical box crack experience. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. It's been really great cracking packs with you. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on what the flipping heck to do with Reign of Daggers. Let me know how you got on with your own Mystery Booster 2 if you were tempted to open it yourself. And yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you so much.